Hello, everyone. My name is Shivani, and I am a member of the Undergraduate Research Mentoring Program. I am here with Dr. Ryan Norris, who is an assistant professor of biology and a recent recipient of the Undergraduate Mentoring Award. I would like to sit down with him and ask him a few questions about his experience as a research mentor, especially because I have been working with him a little over a year and have very much enjoyed the experience. So, Dr. Norris, my first question for you is, what research questions do you explore in your research lab, and how do you involve undergraduate students?
Hi. So I reconstruct the evolutionary history of small mammals, mostly rodents, and I try to determine how past changes in habitat have influenced populations and where the boundaries are among species of rodents. So my work is mostly in two main regions, the rainforests of West Africa and the mountains of northern Pakistan. And both of these are very interesting areas where we still have a lot to learn about the fauna. Undergraduates in my lab are usually involved in genetic work in one way or another. For example, they might sequence and analyze DNA in order to build an evolutionary tree. Other projects sometimes involve ecology or morphology of the animals. So I think my research lends itself nicely to working with undergraduates because I have kind of these big projects, but they can be easily broken up into smaller pieces. So for example, one student might look at a single gene or gene fragment from one species, and then those smaller projects combine to form big projects.
Right, because for example, in my research project, we have the molecular work, but we've also been exploring the morphology of these small rodents.
Right.
So, what do you believe are the advantages of conducting research on the Ohio State Lima campus?
So my research program really is built around undergraduates in the way that I just talked about. Students at the Lima campus have direct and frequent access to me in ways that they might not in a larger facility. The students will really work together. I think we've built a strong community of student researchers. So my students will give feedback on other students' proposals and papers and presentations, those sorts of things.
So, when I joined your lab last spring semester, I remember that I was very nervous and very intimidated by the projects yielded by the other students in your lab. And now, as I'm advancing in my research career, I think that I am less intimidated because I've worked with you and I've worked in your lab to answer these bigger research questions.
Yeah, and just 1 year later, you're the one that's doing the intimidating in the lab.
So, speaking to the intimidation, what do you believe is the biggest lesson that undergraduate students take away from research in general or your research lab?
Well, even though the research that they do with me is really narrowly focused, and they may not be doing that for their entire career, students are still getting to do real research in a real research lab. So they'll investigate questions that no one knows the answer to ahead of time. They will learn some of the tools and techniques that are involved in a basic molecular lab. And through this process, they're going to get information from and evaluate the literature. They'll analyze data. They'll write up their results. They'll present those results. And I think at the end, they get to really take ownership on a project that has sometimes international implications.
All right, thank you so much for your time and thank you for being here.
Thank you.